This, ladies and gentlemen, is the holy grail of Transformers. The one, the only Beast Wars Megatron in his universe form that everybody has cried, begged, and wished they would make, and now here he finally is. And this is MJ Lee 29 on another episode of Transformers Reviews. Happy to bring you the Botcon 2016 Megatron. And I cannot tell you how pleased I am that they actually made this guy. He cost way too much, but he is so very worth it. Basically, they reutilized the Transformers RID Megatron mold, painted him up in Beast Wars Megatron's Transmetal 2 colors, and gave him Beast Wars Megatron head. Which, by the way, is pretty sweet looking. Now, granted, that's what his Transmetal head looked like, but who really gives a care? Now, one thing I was a little bit curious is why they put a Dinobot Spark Crystal there. That does not make any sense whatsoever. So, anyway, here is Megatron in robot mode, looking really awesome like he does, and I must say that the kind of oranges and the reds and the translucent orange in the wings and the gold accents, along with a few hints of black here and there, and the little purple touches like on the dragon feet and on the weapon and everything. I mean, gosh, this thing just looks cool. I really am digging this. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm geeking out here. This is like my favorite Megatron, so yes, I'm just geeking out. Now, however, this Megatron is based off of a Megatron that has upwards of 10 molds. Basically because there's only like 2 or 3 modes out of this that are like legit. The other ones just kind of seem made up. So I'm going to take you only through the modes that really make sense. And then we're going to come back to robot mode and kind of just iron out some final details and final thoughts on him. So first of all, we're going to look at Megatron in probably one of his most legitimate modes, which is Dragon mode. So hang on, and we're going to come back with Megatron in Beast mode. And yes, if you are looking at it, your eyes do not deceive you. He is a double-headed dragon. No joke. Both mouths do open to reveal a little, where the screw hole is, that's a flamethrower weapon. But basically, it's funny because you just kind of take the robot mode, and if you can kind of see, you just turn it upside down, flip a few things out and around, and his legs form the 2 dragon necks and the dragon heads. Which, honestly, the dragon heads aren't that bad. And the way that it transforms, this is what was the outside of his robot mode wings now becomes the inside of his beast mode wings. And I do want to bring this out for you any further. On the original RD Megatron, when he goes into car mode, these form the front wheels. Now, I'm not going to be showing that on Megatron because, well, that's just kind of dumb and it looks really made up. So anyway, but this is one of his more legitimate modes. And you know what? I'm actually okay with him being a 2-headed dragon. Honestly, just because the color selections are awesome. The red and the black on the dragon heads and on the neck and even these little arms down here. You know, the color selections on this really reminisce. Let's take a look at Transmetal 2. Now granted, his Transmetal 2 form is a little bit taller, but I mean when you compare the hold on here. There we go. But when you compare the color selections, is there any doubt this is the same jerk? I mean, come on. But anyway, I'm just, oh, this is so cool. Anyway, and I do love how you can store the missile sword things on the back. That's really kind of cool and clever. I love the fact that they redid this part that'll become the jet into a tail. That's really cool. And really, the dragon feet aren't that bad. Now, true, they don't have any heel supports, but that's why the tail's back here, so that in beast mode, he can actually stand up. So, you know, and honestly, it's really kind of cool. Now, I mean, you put the, like this, We did say he is a little bit shorter. Wingspan's a little bit wider than Transmetal 2 Megatron, but generally it's about the same size as his Transmetal 2 form, which is really kind of cool. So anyway, one of the next modes I'm going to show you is actually what they call the Griffin mode. And this was a mode used by the RID Megatron, but it actually, I mean, it's kind of one of those that it seems sort of legitimate, but it seems sort of made up. So this will be the second out of the 4 modes I'm going to show you, and we'll kind of show you what it looks like. And here is Megatron in his Griffin mode. And I gotta say that, like I said, this one kind of seems halfway made up. And, well, you know how I joked about them just laying down robot, or flipping robot mode upside down? They kind of just laid dragon mode down and just flipped a few things around, because this was dragon mode. They just flipped the legs up, flipped the, you know, and then flipped the tail. Well, the tail's already like that, and just, yeah. So anyway, I mean, is it creative? Yeah, I'll give you that. I love just the dark reds and the medium reds that are used on this. The only other thing that I could think of that came close to a Griffin was Skylynx. So here he is with Voyager Combiner Wars Skylynx. You can see he pretty much dwarfs him. Pretty good, pretty good too. But overall, I mean, I can kind of buy this as a Griffin. Honestly, don't ask me why. I just kind of can. But I mean, overall, I mean, it's cool. It looks kind of imposing. I mean, shoot. It's you know what? I actually like it. I'm not gonna lie. I really do like it. It's cool. So anyway, I'd give his Griffin mode a thumbs up. It's really legit. So, and the way that they utilized, the way that Galvatron used it in the show was, this was a striker lance and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, and another variation for the head mode was kind of like this, you know, like this, so that the striker lance could clear his head, and he was flying around like, you know, like kind of like this and other stuff. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get him into jet mode, which you'll find out here in a second is very close to this one. Now I'm going to be honest with you. This is actually one of my favorite modes, is jet mode. And I have to say that it's pretty sleek, it's pretty slick, and it's just, overall, I like the look of it. Now he does have this landing gear that folds out of the chest, like the chest, when it folds down, this folds out. But if you want to just keep it up, or just, I usually keep it collapsed in the chest. But over here on what is his robot mode arms is wheels. So I mean, you know, technically he could come in for a landing. So, but overall, I mean, this is probably the most of a departure from anything in the other 3 modes. This one you have to actually, there's not just flipping it one way and then rearranging parts. This one you actually have to go and you know, disconnect a lot of the pieces and rearrange them and things like that. So overall, I really love jet mode. I mean, just, I love it. It looks cool. I love where the cannons are placed. That's what, one thing about this mold is the cannons can be placed almost anywhere and they look good. So I mean, overall, that's a pretty cool jet mode. You know, and just since we already looked at him, I mean, there he is with Combiner Wars Skylynx. So I mean, this guy is definitely, he's in between a modern day Voyager and leader class, honestly. So I mean, he's pretty cool looking. Like I said, I mean, you can see he's dwarfing Skywarp real easily, or Skylynx. Get him right. Well, even flipping out his wings, he's nothing like that. I mean, so anyway, let's go back to robot mode, and we'll kind of go over the pros and cons of this mold. So in final thoughts, here we come back to the 4th and final mode that we actually started out with, which is robot mode. And you've kind of seen the best modes that this mold has to offer. Ultimately, I really do like this Megatron. I do have some sad news. I was going to actually compare him with the Transmetal 2 Megatron that we saw earlier, but in transformation to robot mode, as Megatron was so old, his leg literally deteriorated and fell off. So that ain't happening. Oh, and we have a guest voice from Midwest Reviews making an appearance. Anyway, so, in final thoughts, this is the weapon that he comes with, the standard one, and it's basically just a pressure launch system. You can use it as a double-bladed sword, or you can use it as two individual ones. Now, one thing I forgot to show in vehicle mode was they actually do fire their pressure release. So you just press down on the little crystal there at the bottom, and they fire off. So anyway, but overall, I really like this Megatron. He costs way too much, but for how much I've geeked out, I really do like him. The head sculpt sells it along with the colors. I think it's very appropriate for this Megatron. And before we go, let's do one little size comparison, which is a teaser for a review coming up in the future. Here he is with Pterosaur. And this is just the readaptation of one of the Combiner Wars aerial bots that they use for Pterosaur. So you can see his head comes up to about Megatron's waist, or if you count the nose cone, somewhere on his chest. So anyway, that's a little too much red for right now. And anyway, sorry guys, I just have to maintain my enthusiasm after losing a piece of my childhood. But who knows, maybe this Megatron will more than make up for that. So anyway, until next time in another review, this is MJ Lee, and this has been Transformers Botcon 2016 Megatron. We'll see you guys in another review.